All right, guys. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. All right, so today I'm just going to go back over what we did yesterday really fast. Remember, what we looked at yesterday was poetry, and what we kind of finished off on was rhyme scheme. And again, rhyme scheme is when I look at the end of a line of a poem and I'm looking for the end sound. So in this case, ace, ace, eases, eases, and remember, I try to match up the sound with whatever it rhymes with. So germ and derm rhyme, so this would be AA. Ace and race rhyme, so it's BB. Eases rhyme CC. And then and germ rhyme up top, so it's AA, wouldn't be DD. Okay? All right, let's continue on. Okay, now there's also something called internal rhyme. That's basically when you have a word that rhymes with another word that's inside of the same line. So if I have once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary, this is one line, but weary and dreary rhyme with each other. Okay, that's internal rhyme. Near rhyme is a technique where you have a close rhyme, but it's not really perfect. So an example of it would be the words rose and lose. Okay, they kind of rhyme, but they really don't. Okay, so the words either share either the same vowel or consonant, but not both. Okay, so it's similar. Okay, all right, let's take a look at some other stuff. All right, so free verse poetry, unlike metered poetry, free verse poetry doesn't have any repeating pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables, and it does not have rhyme. Free verse poetry is very conversational. It sounds like somebody's talking with you. It's a more modern type poetry, right? So it doesn't follow your general rules of having to have a certain rhythm to it or a certain rhyme to it. And what's rhythm? Okay, so rhythm is basically the beat created by the sounds of the words in a poem. And there's different ways in which a poet can create rhythm. Okay, so think about the sound of the way the words sound in the poem, not the rhyme, but the beat pattern, almost the syllabic pattern, is what creates rhythm. Okay, so what is consonance? Consonance is something that's similar to alliteration. Remember, alliteration is when the consonant sounds appear in the front, but in consonance, the repeated consonant sounds could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the front. So if I look at this group of words, silken, sad, uncertain, rustling, if I look at the word uncertain, it has this sound, but it's not right in the front. That's what consonance is. So this same repeating sound could be anywhere. Assonance is when I have a repeated vowel sound in a line or lines of poetry. So remember, the vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. So if I have these words, lake, fate, base, and fade, they all have the same A sound in the middle of them. So that's what assonance is, okay? Again, some more examples of assonance. Slow, the low, gradual moan came in the snowing. So slow, low, moan, and snowing all have that same O sound. Shall ever medicine thee to that sweet sleep. Right, so I have the E, E, E in this line of text repeating. That's assonance. Okay, refrain is almost kind of like what you would think in repetition. Okay, refraining is when I see a sound, word, phrase, or line repeated. Okay, so think of refrain as repetition. Okay, and these are just basically some different types of poetry we'll be looking at as we go on through this unit. A haiku. Okay, a haiku is a Japanese poem and it's written in 3 lines. It's generally about nature. Okay, so it's in syllables. Now, what is a syllable? The syllable are like the beats in words. So if I look at this first line, an old silent pond. So I can kind of like clap these beats out. An old silent pond. 5 syllables. Okay, same thing with the next one. A frog jumps into the pond. That's 7 syllables. Okay, and the next one, splash, silence, again, 5 syllables. Okay, so it's the beats in the words. That's what makes up syllables. Okay, now, sing cane. Okay, 5-line poem has 22 syllables, and then this is the syllabic structure it has to have. So it's 2 syllables, 4 syllables, 6 syllables, 8 syllables, 2 syllables. Okay. How frail above the bulk of crashing water hangs, autumnal, evanescent, wan the moon. Right. So if I count out these syllables, it's going to match this pattern. Shakespearean sonnet. Okay, so Shakespeare, very famous for his types of poetry, and he always used this certain sonnet form. Okay, so it's 14 lines. It has a specific type of rhyme scheme. Okay, so if I look at the rhyme scheme of his sonnets, they're written as A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. So the first and the third, the second and the fourth, the fifth and the seventh, the sixth and the eighth, the ninth and the 11th, 10th and 12th, and then the last two words rhyme. Okay? Now, that's the Shakespearean sonnet. A concrete poem are poems that are supposed to look exactly what they're about. So this is a poem that's supposed to be looking like a flame, and that's what it's about. Okay, that's what a concrete poem is. It looks like whatever it is it's about. All right, now what you guys are going to do is you're going to, we're going to read together some poems, and then you guys are going to answer some questions about them on Socrative. Okay, so let's look at the poems first. All right, so these poems are all about Memorial Day, which passed about a week ago. And again, we generally have off that day from work and school and everything else, but the reality is the reason we have off is to pay respect to the soldiers who either fought or died in war. Okay, so these poems all kind of deal with Memorial Day in some way. Okay, so this first poem is called But You Didn't by Merrill Glass. Remember the time you lent me your car and I dented it? I thought you'd kill me, but you didn't. Remember that time I forgot to tell you the dance was formal and you came in jeans? I thought you'd hate me, but you didn't. Remember the times I'd flirt with other boys just to make you jealous and you were? I thought you'd drop me, but you didn't. There were plenty of things you did to put up with me, to keep me happy, to love me, and there are so many things I wanted to tell you when you returned from Vietnam, but you didn't. Okay, so Vietnam was a war that we fought in the 1960s and 70s. So obviously, this is a story about someone who is missing this person who they lost at the end. All right, let's take a look at another poem. Do we remember? In a bush in a jungle, a man-child hides, hoping not to die. To his mother he cries. Quiet and still he lies, alone, lost and scared. Flashlights search the air. Will they remember? Will they care that he was hungry, tired, and scared? As bullets fill the air, he remembers the dare. He answered the call and gave us all. In summation, what is a nation? Who asked so much from so few? It could have been me too. So little is asked of all from those who answered the call. Do we remember? Do we still care that he died over there? Okay. And this is the last poem. Remember them. We will remember them, the ones who stood tall, who fought for their country, the ones who were willing to fall. We will remember them, the ones whose lives had shined, who were mighty and bold. May the world be defined. Look at all our nations, oh, how far we've come. As every person will stay in our hearts, we shall stand one by one. Okay, so now what you guys are going to be doing is you're going to go onto Socrative. Remember, the code is 2037 AEC7. Okay, that's it.